Zurich is perhaps the most famous of Switzerland's cities. Some even believe it's the capital of the country. And it's one of the most expensive cities in the world. Half a day is enough for a quick introduction to Zurich, as the historical center occupies a small area. And in one day, you can see almost all the most interesting things in Zurich, walk along the wide streets and avenues, wander along the waterfront, take a boat trip on the lake, take a tram up the mountain to the university and look at the city from a bird's eye view, and even look at some museums. And it's most convenient to start a walk around the city from the railway station. By the way, next to it's the Swiss National Museum. It is impressive already by its appearance, as it's built in the style of a city chateau. It's definitely suitable as the starting point of the tourist route around Zurich. Not far from the station on a hill is the Lindenhof Quarter and Park, from where the city grew. From here there is a beautiful view of the opposite bank of the river. This area was once a Roman customs point, controlling the flow of goods along the Limmat River. There are many narrow streets, nice 3-4-story houses. In a word, everything is like in many European cities. So if your Swiss itinerary includes only Zurich, then be sure to take a walk there. But if you are going to visit other cities in Switzerland, you will find much prettier places there. One of the main attractions of the city is St. Peter's Church. First of all, it is known for the largest size of the tower clock, the dial diameter of which is more than 8.5 meters, and the minute hand is almost 4 meters. The tower served as a signal tower. In case of fire, the man on duty would start ringing the bells, displaying a flag on the side of the fire, so that people could get their bearings. Once down on the embankment, you'll find yourself not far from another significant cathedral, Frauenmünster. This cathedral is famous, first of all, for its stunning stained glass windows by Marc Chagall. It's better to come here in the morning, when the sun shines directly into the windows of the building. This church was once part of a convent for aristocratic persons. The abbess of the convent wielded considerable power in the city and even had the privilege of printing money. The surviving frescoes on the territory of the former convent clearly tell us about city life in the Middle Ages. If you walk back towards the train station along the promenade from Frauenmünster, you will soon find yourself at Weinplatz. This square served as a bread exchange until 1620, and is, in fact, Zurich's oldest market square. Its current name comes from this fountain, which was installed here in 1909. It depicts a Swiss winemaker with a basket of grapes. The old bridge, Rathausbrücke, connects Weinplatz with the right bank of the Limmat. Behind the bridge, right by the river, stands the late Renaissance Rathaus Town Hall. The building was constructed in the second half of the 17th century. The cantonal council still sits here. Not far from the Rathaus, the two towers of the Zurich Cathedral, the Grossmünster, rise proudly from the 12th century. Its majestic grey twin towers are visible from various points in the city. This is the main spiritual center of Zurich, built in the Romanesque style. It was once a church at a male monastery and competed with the female Frauenmünster throughout the Middle Ages. If you walk along the river embankment from Grossmünster towards the lake, you will find the legendary Café Odeon. It opened on July 1, 1911, and became one of the most popular places in the city. For decades, it remained a major meeting place for intellectuals. Among the prominent guests were Stefan Zweig, William Somerset Maugham, Erich Maria Remarque, Klaus Mann, Albert Einstein, and even Lenin. In the mid-70s the café closed due to financial difficulties, but in the early 80s it started to receive visitors again. Today it is much smaller than in its best times, but much of the old atmosphere has been preserved. The interior of the café is made in the Art Deco style. Marble walls, crystal gilded chandeliers, elegant wooden bar counters, tables and chairs attract attention. And the menu has become more diverse. Besides, by Zurich standards, the prices here are quite reasonable. Maybe that is why it is always crowded and quite noisy. However, this is not surprising. There is no Wi-Fi in the cafe, so that visitors can communicate with each other like in the good old days. Not far from the cafe, on a spacious square by the lake, is the Opera House. Usually, the red and white flag of Switzerland and the white and blue flag of the canton of Zurich flutter on the facade of this building. But this time, 2 rainbow flags were hung on the building. Apparently, the LGBT opera was staged here. There is also some kind of photo shoot taking place near the opera in wedding dresses and bikinis. All this looks pretty cool against the background of the rainbow flag. Next, take a walk along the promenade of Zurich Lake. You can feed the swans or ducks, which are numerous here. They are so accustomed to people that they quietly eating directly from their hands. Further from the city, the embankment turns into a park beach, where the citizens like to sunbathe on the grass in the summer. I also advise taking a boat trip on the lake. There are short and long routes with visits to neighboring small towns. After ride on the lake, take tram number 4, which runs along the right bank towards the train station, and get off at the central stop. You can get off 1 stop earlier and walk along Niederdorfstrasse, the most touristy street in the city, which stays open until late at night and is filled with all kinds of cafes, restaurants, stores, and hotels. At the end of the street will be the Polybahn station. Here board a tram that goes uphill and takes you to Polyterrasse, the observation deck of the Federal Institute of Technology. This is one of the best European universities, and the pride of Switzerland. By the way, there is a curious story connected with it. At one time they refused to accept Einstein here. Apparently, they considered him too smart for this educational institution. Finish your exploration of Zurich with an evening stroll around the city, and be sure to wander down Bahnhofstrasse, one of the most expensive streets in the world. It's especially nice in the summer, when the linden trees in bloom give off an amazing fragrance. And on a Gastenagas, sit in one of the many cafes drinking mulled wine or hot chocolate if you're traveling in autumn or winter. But if you're traveling in summer, try Swiss wine.